As early as the 3rd century, there have been records of mermaids living beyond the South China Sea. Associated with beauty and melancholy, these mystical beings weep tears that transform into luminous pearls. In this video, we'll be talking about Jiaoren, enchanting sea creatures who spend their days weaving silk from moonlight. I'll go into the lore in a bit more detail later, but first just a bit of background on this video. I'm planning a series of paintings inspired by Chinese mythology and folklore, and today we're going to be planning a Jiaoren inspired one. So actually I kind of painted this already a couple of years ago, but I was never really happy with it. I don't feel like it captures the essence of their lore. The background is too plain and her shawl just kind of looks like loo roll wrapped around her shoulders. So today we're gonna see if we can come up with something a bit better. So grab some tea, get cozy, and let's get brainstorming. When I was flicking through Alphonse Mucha's posters for inspiration, I saw this one that I really liked the pose of. So first I did a quick gesture study on the right, and then on the left I sort of adapted it to cover all the elements of Jiaoren lore that I wanted to include. So I guess a bit more background on the Jiaoren species, or I guess they're basically Chinese mermaids. When they weep tears of sorrow, of heartbreak, and sometimes even of joy, their tears will transform into shimmering pearls. And for this part of their lore, I feel like I captured it in the last painting because the main focus is her like crying. But I don't feel like I covered the whole weaving element in the last painting. And also her face is really static, like how is she crying with no emotion? It just feels a bit stiff. So in the new version I've put spinning wheels all along the border to represent how they spin yarn from moonlight and then weave that into a delicate sea silk. I wanted to include some cultural references in the painting as well, so I added 9 little fish that are swimming around the mermaid. In Chinese paintings, the motif of 9 fish symbolises eternal prosperity and abundance, good fortune and success. And this is because the phrase 九鱼, which means 9 fish, it sounds very similar to eternal prosperity in Chinese. And because red is the luckiest colour in Chinese culture, I thought it would be fitting to paint these fish in shades of red. I don't know why I tested pink and green for the sea silk, because since it's made out of moonlight, I feel like it should be a silvery pearl kind of colour, like how the moon looks like when it reflects on the ocean. I really want to try painting the sea silk turning into sea foam at the bottom right corner, but I'm definitely gonna have to do some like mini painting studies because I've never tried painting the ocean before, and yeah, there's just generally a massive gap between my skill set and my vision, so that's something I'm trying to improve on this year. Something I can't decide on is the colour of the mermaid's tail, so I am torn between purple and seafoam green. I do quite like purple in the original, but I also feel like seafoam green has sort of an ethereal quality to it. So yeah, I really don't know. What do you guys think? Please let me know in the comments below if you prefer purple or green, or maybe some other colour would be better. I don't know if I could do maybe a gradient of both of them. Another element of Jiaoren lore is that their oil, or I guess fat, or maybe blubber, I don't know the right term, but Jiaoren oil, once it's lit, it will burn for 1,000 years without going out. This element feels a bit more morbid, so I didn't really want to include it in the illustration, since I guess they would need to be killed for that oil to be harvested. And I didn't really know where to include that, like if she was holding a flame or candle, that would feel a bit against her own species. Not cannibalistic, but I don't know what the word for it is. It just would be a bit weird, like if a human being was wearing human remains. That was my initial thought when I read about Jiaoren oil, but then I thought about it, actually maybe it's not as morbid as I'm interpreting it, because maybe in mermaid culture, after someone passes away, they will use the oil to like power the undersea cities and provide light to their cities for thousands of years, and then the mermaids all live on in that way. But because of the track record that human beings have as a species, I guess my automatic thought was that Jiaoren would be targeted for like the properties of their oil, and I guess exploited for the fact that they can produce pearls from their tears. When you look at mermaid stories from all over the world, I think there's always some sort of reference to the relationship that humans have with nature, and also the same sort of themes of heartbreak and beauty and loss. They seem to be reoccurring. I didn't have any silver paint, so I used gold instead, and it's basically just confirmed to me that I don't want to use gold in the final painting because it's a bit too warm and it doesn't really fit the whole pearl and moonlight kind of theme going on. I've tried looking on Jackson's art, but all the silver and pearl kind of shades are sold out, so I'm just waiting for them to come back in stock for this painting. I'm really excited to paint the final thing, but I'm also really quite nervous, and that's one of the reasons why I've been putting off this project for so long, is because when I did all the draft sketches a couple of years ago, I just thought, oh, like I'll save these paintings for when I'm better at art or for when I can actually pull this off. And then I just realized like the years have gone by and like time is moving on without me, and the project, like none of the illustrations I've planned are done, and it's just been like the fear of failure that's holding me back, when in reality the biggest fail is not trying and remaining stagnant and letting that fear consume you. And it's just toxic perfectionism really that is just holding myself back. Because let's be real, making an illustration is not neurosurgery. Like nobody's gonna die if something goes wrong. We can literally just get a new piece of paper and start over again. So 2025, I'm trying to slowly reprogram my brain and just start drawing. If it turns out bad, that is also fine. Back when I did this original painting, I also made rough colour drafts. This is the original, I guess, draft sketch. It's so ugly, but I didn't really plan the background out. This time I've planned out the background a bit more, so hopefully it's more like a full-on illustration, because I do feel like this one is just kind of missing something. I also have old sketches on Chang, the Chinese moon goddess. That's what the autumn festival is based on, her lore, mythology. And this, well, I shouldn't be shocked, that was really stupid. Anyway, this is of the Chinese sun goddess. She had 10 sons, and they were in the form of 3-legged crows. And each morning she would take one of them out on her sun chariot, and it would light up the sky and the earth, until one day all 10 of them, because they were, I guess, children, they just decided to go out and fly in the sky all at once and burn the earth into a crisp. There's a whole story behind that on how everyone was saved, and it links in with the moon goddess, but that probably is for a later video. So yeah, that's everything for today's planning session. It's a little bit different from my usual videos, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.